Hi, everyone. Continuing this Beach Boys weekend, which I have to say yesterday got off to a wonderfully fresh-sounding, joyous start with California Girls. Today's song is Kokomo, written by John Phillips, Scott McKenzie, Mike Love, and Terry Melcher. The song was released as a single in July 1988 and became a #1 hit in the US and Australia. It was the band's first original top 20 single in 20 years, their first #1 hit in 22 years, and their final top 40 hit. So California Girls was from 1965, and now this one is 1988. I'm getting quite a good span across their career with these two songs this weekend, so that's nice. Also, just so you know, down below where I can see on my iPad, there is a paragraph which I'm supposed to read only after I've heard the song. So I'm letting you know now. I cannot see it on my iPad. I have to scroll down to get to it. Vlad said, don't look at it till you're done listening. So let's listen.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica.
Okay. I love the fact that, okay, part of it is probably because we're spanning more than 20 years here between yesterday's song and today. However, I love the similarities and the connections between the two. California Girls, it was about traveling the world and experiences in all different parts of the world. Here, maybe not quite so global, but still the idea that we're traveling and we are, even listing Aruba, Jamaica, Bermuda, Bahama, Key Largo, Montego, everywhere. Actually, I kind of like this Montego Baby instead of Montego Bay. It's kind of fun little play with the names there. So I like that I noticed that both of these songs this weekend have that similar sort of traveling and enjoying the experiences of life. The voices really sound consistent one to the other. And that is something interesting for me to notice as well, because 20-some years, voices can change. I guess the most striking example of that recently was my experience listening to Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now, the early performance and then the recording which came later in her life, and the massive difference in her voice. And bands also can change their sound. And since I don't know enough of the Beach Boys' work to contrast early with later music, I don't know how much of what I'm hearing here is simply a growth in their a change in their musical style, and how much of it is specific to this song and what this song is evoking. So that's something that I don't know yet. Someday I will, when I've heard a good bit more Beach Boys. However, I can say that vocally, I notice that their voices still have very much the same sound that they had back in the early days. At the same time, the instruments here I love how they're using their distinctive sound and shaping it for the specific image that this song is trying to evoke, is setting out to portray, and that is tropical, Caribbean. And they're using musical, stylistic elements, rhythms, and instrumental sounds, the percussive sound choices of percussion and so on, which really place us in that part of the world. So it's another song that makes us travel to a place, and they do it beautifully.
Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love.
I still hear the organ,
Of a steel drum band.
which I also heard
Down in cold
way back with.
Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda.
Still their wonderful harmonies.
Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego.
I'm hearing
Why don't we go to the Kokomo? You can play it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go, Martinique, that Montserrat mystique. We'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity.
I like this little bit of... Okay. Backing up a little bit, because they do something really nice here in this portion of the song, which I guess I haven't noticed very much in what I've listened to of theirs. And that is this sort of conversation between a voice and an instrument. The first time in this whole musical journey I've undertaken, the first time that kind of vocal instrumental conversation really stood out to me in a memorable way was when I listened to Brothers in Arms and heard the way he had this incredible partnership and dance between the voice and the guitar. Maybe because that was the first time it really stood out to me. Maybe because that is still in my mind one of the best examples I've heard so far. There have been some other great ones even recently along the way, but still I always connect back to that song when I hear something like this and I think, oh yes, here's somebody who's doing something similar. Now, I don't hear that a lot in Beach Boys music. It's not their typical, shall I say, general stylistic approach. Their music is a bit different. And that's neither good nor bad. It's just an observation. But here, in this passage, listen to what I just heard. When he gets to "we'll put out to sea," at that point, the music changes. Mainly because the voice changes. But it shifts mood. And that change, that shift in the mood, in the dynamic of the piece, is enhanced by this wonderful partnership and dance between that voice singing "we'll put out to sea" and what the guitar is doing in a conversational manner, responding to that. It becomes very atmospheric and evocative. But more than that, it also, to my ears, is symbolic of everything that this song is talking about. Two of us going off on a romantic getaway, and the voice who is speaking, talking, saying all of this is the voice that is singing. But then the guitar here coming in and working in partnership is the other half of this couple, who is also very much connected and in tune and receptive to this idea, because listen to what the guitar is doing there.
That Montserrat mystique we'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect
Just a
our
couple
chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon.
It's so gentle. It's so quiet. You don't really notice it unless you're listening for it, or unless you are receptive to what is happening in this passage. But to me, this is a highlight of the song, at least so far, because suddenly it's much more it's much more intimate in this moment, which is really important. Oh, this wonderful tropical vibe and you know, Caribbean stylistic elements, and the dreaming of being on the sand and falling in love, and all of this wonderful experience we're dreaming of. That's fine. It's fine as dreams, but it's only dreams unless there really is a connection between the two people. and this passage suddenly really brings it home and brings it close and makes it be more than just this happy song about a tropical getaway. Suddenly it becomes special.
That Montserrat mystique we'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry.
It also
By and by
allows
we'll
the other half of the couple
a little bit of gravity.
to remain a bit mysterious
Afternoon
to us, the observers.
cocktails and moonlit nights. That dreamy
Now we're back to organ.
give me a tropical contact high.
It's still in there.
Jamaica, ooh, I wanna
And that.
take it to Bermuda, Bahama, come on,
Oh, that bass there.
Key Largo.
I guess that bass voice is one that doesn't sound as smooth as 20 years earlier. And I don't know if it's simply because the recording technology has developed and we can hear more of what is actually happening with his voice, or is it simply the fact that we're 20 years older in a voice. But it works well here. And I kind of like the way it sticks out a little bit and doesn't quite blend with the others perfectly in those moments. Because it creates a kind of texture. It adds to the multi-dimensional effect, kind of like a, if you're feeling a model of something and part of it sticks out more than the other, then you get to really notice that, and it becomes part of the entire experience.
Give me a tropical contact high, way down in Kokomo, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama.
Right there in his Bahama is the Bahama.
Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down to Kokomo. Your prince, I wanna catch a glimpse.
trumpet? Or is that saxophone? I think it's trumpet.
Everybody knows
I think it's trumpet with a mute.
a little place like Kokomo. Now if you wanna go and get away from it all, go down the Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you through Bermuda.
Puts me in the tropical mood.
Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and
I like this line.
it's slow.
Speaking of...
It's where we
Okay, let it finish.
we gotta go. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you through Bermuda, Bahama.
Bahama. I think it's a perfect getaway song, isn't it? I can totally picture turning this on, you know, as we're taking off on a vacation or something like that. I think it so captures that spirit, that everything that one looks for when they're trying to get away for a little bit from the normal routine. And it's sweet, it's cute, I like it, it's fun. Yesterday, I was talking a lot about how humor was so deeply embedded in the song that I was listening to. It's funny, this one is not one where I feel such a strong undertones of humor. However, that doesn't mean humor doesn't exist. And I think my favorite line as an example of the humor embedded in this is the line that comes, "We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow." Somehow I caught myself, and it would be interesting to go back and watch this video, or those of you who are watching it now can tell me, did I chuckle? Did I smile? Every time I heard that line, somehow I noticed at the end, every time I hear that line, it makes me kind of chuckle. There it is again. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. Nice expression of, in the context of the song, but more than that, it is a line that just makes you want to smile with the gentle humor within it. There are plenty of other moments where I could pick out something humorous, but to me, this feels perhaps even a little bit more serious than California Girls. Again, it might be partly age, because California Girls, as I said, it captured the youthful spirit. This, it's still happy, it's still vibrant, it's still joyful, but it's more, somehow it's expressed in a slightly more mature manner, or the overall vibe of it is something where you feel like, yeah, there could be a little bit of age on it, although it doesn't have to be, but there's less of that youthful joking peeking through every corner. So this has been a lot of fun. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm supposed to read this paragraph. The lyrics describe two lovers taking a trip to a fictional place called Kokomo. Well, that's actually a little question in my mind. As I was listening, I was thinking, is Kokomo a place I'm supposed to know? And I kind of assumed that it was some obscure beach or resort somewhere down in the tropics. Apparently, it's not even that. It's fictional. Not much about it is described except for its location off the Florida Keys and comparisons to other real destinations in the Caribbean islands such as Aruba, Jamaica, Bahamas, Martinique, and Montserrat, as well as Key Largo, Florida, and the North Atlantic island of Bermuda. Besides Kokomo, Indiana, USA, the only real-world places that used the name Kokomo were inspired by this song. These include a Kokomo beach at the Casa Marina Resort in Key West and a Kokomo beach on the island of Curacao, which still bears the name. Okay, so I guess there are places that use it. I didn't even know that there was a Kokomo, Indiana. But that's kind of fun. Of course, with the Beach Boys being so popular, and such a nice song, of course, somebody's going to want a resort named Kokomo after that, right? This has been a fun weekend for me. I've enjoyed both of these songs, as I kind of expected. However, it's been really nice to sit down and take more time noticing details, both in the early days and towards the end of their musical output, and hearing the continued vibrancy and general embracing of simply the joy of life. Or as I said yesterday, I think just the sense of happiness that I woke up today and I'm alive. And it's the youthful vibrancy, and hearing how both of these songs capture that and express these nice sentiments and attitudes, which we need in this world today. And this kind of music is so important to help us preserve and cultivate and remember how to live positively. So refreshing, enjoyable, fun, and a great continuation of my Beach Boys experience. I'm looking forward to next time I hear them, and I'll see you soon.